The question, has President Obama learned an important lesson about the weight of his words as President of the United States? Joining us from Jacksonville, Florida, political commentator Opio Sokoni, and right here in the studio, radio talk show host Mike Gallager, a Fox News contributor. Mike, let me start with you. President's really sort of stepped off in it today. He had to personally go to the podium and try to do some damage control.
Let's hope that the teaching moment that the president suggested we should have today is the moment where people learn to stop racing into the charged politics of racism at the drop of a hat. And let's hope that America finally says, and maybe this is the case, where people stop saying that cop must be a racist, that white guy must be out to make that black person's life miserable. Let's make this the time that we reject the politics of the Skip Gateses of the world and the Al Sharptons and the Jesse Jacksons and give great police sergeants like Sergeant Crowley the benefit of the doubt.
Opio, I want to ask you, in this case, there's really two things going on. One is the issue there locally with Cambridge, whether or not there was any racism involved. The other is, why on earth would the President of the United States jump in the middle of this and take the bait from a reporter at a press conference that was supposed to be about health care?
Well, I think that the president did a great job in dealing with the issue in a straightforward way. We don't too much get that from political leaders when it comes to police officers. So I think because there was a personal situation where he knows the professor, you had a situation there. But if a police officer who Sergeant Crowley says that he's ultimately taught about sensitivity and racial profiling, if he doesn't understand why Professor Gates is upset, then he need to go back and do some retraining before he teach anyone else about racial profiling.
I got to be honest with you. I have set the alarm off at my own home, and the police come out. And when they do, I'm glad to see them. I don't get mad at them. I apologize to them for getting them out unnecessarily. If somebody is seen pushing the door to my home, even if it's me, I don't care what color they are, white or black, I'm glad the police are going to show up and maybe stop a burglary in process. Could you not see that maybe that Professor Gates would have been a little better off had he just said, guys, I'm sorry, it's just me, I got a bad door, I'm going to get this fixed? Wouldn't that have put this whole thing to rest?
Yeah, I think so, and I think you're right on that. But at the same time, many African Americans have known the situation where police officers feel like they have to win. And this situation here is a police officer saying, hey, there's been a mistake, now shut up. The professor says, no, I'm not shutting up, this is because of race. And the police officer says, hey, I'm going to win, you're going to jail.
Whoa, wait, excuse me, Opio. I wasn't there, you weren't there. I didn't see, I don't know if you read the smoking gun or any of the reports online where the man said, Professor Gates said, I'll talk to your mama outside, and do you know who you're messing with, Sergeant? I mean, he was belligerent. We all know what happened here, Opio. This was a man who felt aggrieved and thought that the police had no right to ask him for identification, and he went off on a tangent. I mean, shut up. No, I think at some point you need to shut up when you're addressing a guy with a gun and a badge, and you need to be respectful, like we all are, or should be, when we deal with somebody who's an officer of the law.
I've got the Cambridge Police Department report in my hands. It's not only the report by Officer Crowley, but also the backup report from another officer, Figueroa. And it's interesting that in addition to that, the neighbor who made the phone call essentially verified that this was escalating because Professor Gates just continued to push the issue even as the officer was trying to defuse it. So, again, I wasn't there. Mike has admitted he wasn't there. But this looks like one of those issues that would have certainly been better had both of them walked away. But I want to go back to the original question. Why on earth did the president feel compelled to jump in this? Opio, you said you thought he should have, that what he said was important. But did he really make a big mistake by calling the police actions stupid?
Well, if you are a police officer and ultimately a mistake was made and a person who is a middle-aged man, very intelligent, a law-abiding citizen ultimately ends up in jail because the police officer felt he had to win that situation, then common sense did not prevail. And I tend to go on the side of thinking about history when we think about this, because at one point in time, the police was the Ku Klux Klan was the police. Now, we do know that history.
Well, Opio, we're not talking about the Ku Klux Klan here, and I want to make this comment. You know what? I want the police to win. I want them to win, because when I think about the police...
No, you want the citizen to win.
Well, when I think that the police are going against a burglar, and at that point, what we thought it was, we didn't know it at the point.
But see, Mike,
we thought it was. Go ahead, Mike.
If I may, this is what's so wrong right now with this story. And Opio, you should follow the lead of President Obama, who did everything but apologize today and fall all over himself, saying that he used the wrong choice of words. The fact is, to continue to smear Sergeant Crowley this way and suggest there was a mistake made, please bear in mind, from his perspective and from the Cambridge Police Department's perspective, there has not been a mistake made. You want to know the mistake that was made? It was made by Professor Gates, who became belligerent and abusive. You say Professor Gates is intelligent. I don't know what kind of scholar he is, but I'm not real sure the words, "I'll talk to your mama" out on the porch comes under the category of much intellect.
I think that some of the things that Sergeant Crowley has said has been very intelligent, and he's been counseled very well. I don't believe at all that he's been any kind of way maligned. But again, I think this brings up a huge issue that we never want to talk about, and that's police brutality, the black and law enforcement relationship. This provides a great opportunity for us to do this.
Sergeant Crowley,
if we did it with common sense.
Sergeant Crowley, in fact, taught the whole issue of race relations, and I think he has been touted. He's a person who has a long history, no problems whatsoever. Nobody has ever accused him of having any racist attitudes. In fact, many of the officers who have stood with him are African American officers, so there's just no evidence to indicate that this man has a chip on his shoulder. He just happened to be answering a call because he was in the vicinity.
And to use the phrase police brutality.
It sounds like you're saying, well, you know, he knows black people and some of his best friends are black. It sounds like you're
I certainly did not say that. But what I really do believe that if a policeman is getting a call that someone might be breaking into a home, he has every right. In fact, he has a responsibility to find out, does that person live there? And once he found out he did, he was willing to walk away. But it seems that Professor Gates wasn't going to let it go.
Opio, you're stuck in the past.